Snowball. Okay. Test, 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 test. Okay. Can you hear me now? Can you guys hear me? Let me know. I see a level. Wait a minute. All right, settings. I should have had this set up beforehand, you guys. That would have been nice. Yeah, all right, Snowball. You can hear me. All right, awesome, awesome. Okay, cool, 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 cool. All right, so, no, not you, Google. All right, cool. So you guys can hear me. Again, my name is Mike Thompson. I like to draw and paint things for a living. This thing on my screen is a Venom. You know who he is. I did him for ZBrush, for Pixelogic back in the day. And so now, what I was thinking, right? I didn't really know what I was gonna do. Let me know too if the music is too loud. Audio works now for me. Good. Okay. So can you hear the music? Let me know. And is it too loud? Not too loud. Right? I gotta do this every time. Also, hey, I tell you guys every week, I'm gonna show you like where I started and where I am now when it comes to music's loud. All right, excellent, thank you. I will turn down the audio on the music. Let's see. All right, let me know if that did anything. Also, I can turn it down here. All right, let me know if that did anything. All right, cool. Yeah, so every time I talk to you guys, I'm like, hey, you see what I do now? Wouldn't you like to know what I started off doing back in the day? So I finally found my first Hulk that I worked on, and well, this natural light makes me look really like I have a wide face today, you guys. It's super wide, and that's not because I haven't started my New Year's resolution. It's totally because of the light. All right, so anyway, yeah. So this is the Hulk that I'm working on now that you guys have seen before. But hey, what did I used to work like? All right, that's what I was doing 5 years ago. That's what I thought Hulk was. So there you go, a little before and after. Let's put them side by side so you can tell which one is which. All right, a little before and after. All right, so stay in school, kids. If you're new to ZBrush, you got hope, right? Everyone sucks at first. So, favorite ZBrush artist? Thanks, Andy. Thank you, thank you. What's up, Stephen H? Okay, sort of loud still. Okay, let me know. All right, but anyway, yeah. So today, I didn't know what I was gonna do. I've been on a while, been working on a project for someone, and I've been a little busy. But what I believe I want to do is I want to cut up one of my existing statues so that I can print it on my 3D printer. Oh, and I have to show you something. Hold on one sec. I will be right back. Hold on a second. Okay, so I got these 3D Total statues that I'm sure everybody else has. These guys, if you haven't gotten them, you should pick them up. They're really good. But excellent reference, right? And as soon as I got mine, I was like, you know what? I like it, but I would love to practice breaking out the old airbrushes and getting in there again. So I started painting this. It's probably gonna be hard to see. See if I can get it to focus. Right, so I just did like some washes in the dark areas and some reds, and now I'm putting on masking so I can do the areas that are slightly different coloration, right? The ligaments and things of that nature, right? This is just silly putty that's on here now, and so I started airbrushing again. So anyway, I don't only work on the computer. Which 3D printer do I have? I have the Ender 7. Ender 7. Yep. All right, so enough talking, let's get started. Oh, on my cap today, I'm sporting my friend Jerry Perkins, Master Xeon's, his little product. He has a little thing called Hard Ops. And so that's my boy. I thought I'd put him on. All right, let's go to ZBrush. Let's do this thing. So I had a choice, right? I can either load tool. I can either, you know what, I'm not gonna, all right, here it is. It's either gonna be the Hulk or it's going to be my princess from Gatchaman or Battle of the Planets back in the day, right? If you have not seen that one, let's open it. Let's see. I got a lot of stuff here. Where is the Gatchaman? June. Okay, let's open this. So I think the latest one I have, this is old, man. I haven't worked on these in a while. Okay. I think female flash one, that's not it. Female helmet working, helmet, is this it? That can't be it. All right, let's try this one, let's see. That's not it. Good, June. Let's try this one. Frame. Ooh, that's old. Where is it, man? I am terrible with my naming conventions. Date modified. Sized. Oh, I'm going the wrong way. Here it is. Okay. All right, that was the old one. This should be. All right, this is a good one. All right, this is the good one. So I think I'm going to cut and key this. I also want to redo the cape, because not only would it be a nightmare to print if I could print it at all. When I look at their pictures, they're a lot more. Oh, if I turn on Boolean, it'll cut those holes out. When I look at their pictures, they seem to be a lot more stiff than this. But I don't know if you guys ever watched Battle of the Planets back in the day, or Gatchaman, but let me open up this thing for you. Let's see, where is, okay, so there's that, load. It was either gonna be this or the Hulk, right? One or the others, one or the other. And I wanna cut the Hulk, but I've been meaning to print this for a long time. So I think I wanna do this one. Like tools, sculpt, Gatchaman, June, reference. Seriously, dude? Alright, let's go back. Keyop, reference. You've got to be kidding me. Alright. ZBrush. Alright. I have a mood board somewhere. I don't know where it is. Everything is missing. Let's see. Yeah, Ender. Yeah, Creality Ender 7, right? That's the one I have. Ender. Or 9? Maybe it's the 9. Try 9. Let's see. Can you tell I haven't streamed in a while? Ender 9. Oh, 5. Is it 5? It's one of these damn printers. Reality Ender. I have the Ender 5. I jumped into the future and got the 7. Yeah, it's the 5. My bad. All right, cool. So let me know, do you want me to... All right, let's first, before I start cutting and keying this thing, the good thing about this printer, by the way, is that because I'm printing on, I'm using filament and not resin, it's not heavy, right? But if I look at this, I can tell that she's gonna fall over, right? It's just not, the base is too small, she's leaning forward too far. So what I need to do is make this so that it will, no, it's not the one with the resin, it's the one with, it's PLA printer. So I want to angle her a little more, or figure out how to get this so that this base is going to work, right? Right now it's not going to work. I do like, let's see what she looks like back a little bit. So I do like how far Jeez Louise, man. How far forward she is. But I don't like the fact that she's just gonna fall down. Let's undo that. Oh my god, Dynamesh is on. I don't want to Dynamesh this. Alright, hold on a sec. Let's do this. Let's do this. Okay, cool. Alright, what I want to do is I want to try to angle her back a bit. So let's see what that looks like. It's just not as dynamic, right? It needs to be more dynamic. So I need to figure out this base a little better. Okay. And what I can do is maybe do a swoop in front of her so that there's more weight, more of a better weight distribution, right? And it's not going to fall over. Reminds me of the Zion print. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's kind of why I want to do this, right? But let's do a couple of quick screen grabs of this. Save desktop 1, and maybe from the top. And I'm also going to hide her cape. Hide her cape. Alright, let's turn that off. Alright, cool. Alright, and then there's the logo. Let's hide that too. Turn that off. And go to here. Alright, excellent. Alright, cool. So now I can see that all of her weight is thrown forward and she'll totally fall over. Let's do a screen grab of this as well. Save. And it always helps to do one from the bottom. So let's do one from the bottom so I can just see where this base is going to be. Oops, not this. 3. First thing I'm thinking, like right off the bat, is if I were to just make a regular base here. Yeah, it was the 5. It was the 5 the whole time. Okay, move this over here. Solo, and let's delete the other. Let's go to lowest, delete higher. All right, now I just want to be able to make a cube. Okay, which I have there, and turn on these two. W. All right, I don't want to. I don't want to affect two things, so I'm just going to turn this on like this. I'm rusty, man. I haven't streamed in like a month, and I'm talking like I've never done it before. Right, the other thing that I'm noticing here, you know what? I'm going to center, like rotate her so she's not at a weird angle, because it's going to make life a lot easier. So let me turn on this stuff. All right. I got a lot of things here. Let's turn off the lights. These I did keyshot renders, so that's what that is. Use this cape. I don't want that cape on. What happened to her helmet? That's weird looking. What is that? Is there texture on? Surface. No. Q. is this? Alright, surface, subtool. Okay, I don't know why that's there. That's not what I wanted. Okay, I don't want this green here. You can tell it's been a long time since I touched this. I haven't done anything with groups, folders. I have a lot of construction pieces in here that could be gotten rid of. But this looks like what I want for now. Alright, how do you balance work and family as professional? Well, you're asking the wrong guy. I'm not good at that work-life balance, man. Yeah, pass. I'm gonna pass on that one. Hey, hi, Nikita. Have you printed anything with the Ender 5 before? I'm asking because that's the one I want to use. Can we see? Of course, man. Yeah, of course. I'll get it. Hold on a sec. So I printed this with the Ender 5. This is my Zion Williamson print, and I show it kind of every time I do this, so if you've seen it before, just bear with me. But you can see that it gets a lot of detail, like a lot of detail, an awful lot of detail. All right, so this is quarter scale, and I am about to start printing it. It all was cut and keyed. All these pieces were, like the feet were their own thing, the legs were their own thing. The swoosh was 2 pieces, base 2 pieces, ball here was a piece. Arms were cut at the jersey, and this is all kind of what I'm going to be doing today. Head was cut at the neck. What else? Jersey was a piece, shorts were a piece, right? So when I put this all back together, he's going to be about 20, it's like 21, 22 inches, I think, right? But by doing it this way, I was able to get the compression shorts on their own thing. Everything is clean. And if I wanted to, I could do a mold and print of this with no real serious undercuts. Like I know I shouldn't have. I shouldn't have glued the swoosh and the ball and the base together, obviously, if I was going to do a print. Or not a print, but a mold. Right? Because those are undercuts and that would kill the piece. So anyway, back to that. Oh, I'm doing a stream, little shameless self-promotion. I'm doing 2 streams for Wacom this month. And I will be showing their new, I'll be using their new Wacom 1, which is this thing. It's basically a entry-level Cintiq, and I think the price point is like $400. So I use a 32-inch Cintiq, but if you're a student or if you don't have a lot of cash and you want to have a screen that you can work on, it's a nice option. Right? Okay. I think that's all the housekeeping. Everything talked about. Printer, talked about my boy, talked about Wacom. Let's get to work. All right. Hello. Great result. Thank you. Okay, cool. Dude, I did not say Google. I didn't say Google. They know that. All right, let's figure out this base. I didn't even ask you guys. So would you rather me do cuts for this or the Hulk? Because I'm printing both of them. So just, let's see. Let me know. Weigh in. Princess or Hulk, you guys? Let me open the Hulk 2 load tool. Mike Sculpts, Hulk, ZBrush, standing. You got the 22. Oh, Cintiq, nice, very nice. That's awesome, Chris. And I apologize now for my filthy glasses. I'm sure they're really dirty with fingerprints. these up a little bit. And frame this guy. All right. Princess. Okay, I got one princess. Anybody for the Hulk? Anybody? Going? Once? Twice? No one on Twitch commenting. Long time. See, I hope you were doing well. Hey, thanks, man. Princess. 2 princesses. You guys are sick of the Hulk. Let's go back. Let's do it then. It's good for me. Princess. All right, boom. There it is. Let's do it. That's not right. That's the right one. Okay. Clear these. And the first thing I want to do is rotate her, right? That's what I was talking about before. So let's turn on the old, cape, which is, that's the helmet, that is, where did my cape go? Seriously, dude, where'd the cape go? Cape. Okay, there's the cape. All right, cool. 32 too big? No, I love it. I love it. Holy moly, that's G-force. Yeah, Robert, you know what it is. All right, cool. Yes, I can't tell you how much I love the 32. It's the best thing ever. So let's get this here. All right, I want to rotate everything but the base. So I'm going to go back to my gizmo, and I'm going to turn on all the layers right here, right? I don't have anything masked, so now I can just kind of try to get this oriented in a better position. All right, so I can see now. Thank goodness for this little gizmo icon up here, because I made a custom one, by the way. This boot, that's my boot, and so I can see if I orient the boot from the front, she's sideways. Before this little icon thing existed, I had no idea where I was in the world. And same with this preview over here. So now I can see that if I go to half of my screen resolution, I can zoom up and frame her, and it's just a lot easier and better than it was for me before. All right, so now I want her in the front, so I'll rotate this. Ooh, what happened to her? That's not good. Wait a minute. Okay, I see that the bottoms of her soles of her shoes didn't move either. All right, so I'm gonna revert this. I'm gonna reload this. For whatever reason, my soles must be masked or something. Let's go back. All right, good, June. Let's go back over here. Clear this out, reload this tool, load tool. Gotchamon, June, ZBrush. And I want this one, open. Okay, cool. All right, so there's that. So I will do this. Let's, instead of doing it with the gizmo, I'm just gonna use Transpose Master. So I'll go to first a half it is. All right, everything's where it's supposed to be. So if I go to my Z plugin and go to Transpose Master, then I should be able to T-pose from mesh. Now before I do, let's lower the resolution on everything, because I'm sure I have subdivision levels. If I go to all low here, all right, it makes it better. Like everything is lower, right? When you go into Transpose Master, it normally does that, but I just like to make sure And now if I go to T-pose mesh, it'll take all these individual subtools, bring them in, pop them in the world, and I can manipulate them all at once. This is how I pose my characters, by the way. I don't rig my stuff. I just use Transpose Master. All right, so that's that. Okay, so I want the boot to be forward. Okay, I can see that if this is the front, she is twisted. Don't get it twisted, guys. Shout out to the person who says don't get it twisted. All right, let's turn this over this way. And that's good. I like it. All right. Okay, there's my side. Everything is where it should be. All right. All right, cool. All right, so now that was easy. I will now just hit T-pose to sub T, and that's going to move all my pieces. All right, it's got to calculate it, and then it'll move them one at a time. Will the Wacom stream be using ZBrush, Photoshop, or combination of programs used? Yeah, so Wacom, I'm going to be doing my Black Panther in ZBrush. So if you've seen me working on Black Panther in here before, it's going to be a continuation of that. And I believe I went on a South American tour for Wacom over the fall last year. So it was like a 4-country tour, and that's what I was showing the students at the different universities. And this is kind of like a continuation of that. So, marvelous designer. All right, so what's up, S. Davis? What's up, man? Yeah, I have been. I've been MIA. Life is hard on the boulevard. All right, let's bring it back up to all high. All high. Okay, so there that is. And Boolean is on. Yeah, so I actually, this piece is really kind of old. I think I did this, I started this in 2016, but I did the skirt and her cape in Marvelous, and then everything else, the boots, the gloves, her blouse, are all done by hand, because I really enjoy sculpting fabric. And if we go back to that Hulk, you'll see, like if I go back to this Hulk, like these pants were all just done sculpting. I didn't use Marvelous for any of this, right? I like Marvelous. I don't like the idea that when I come in, either the seams don't weld the way that I want them to, and also it's easier for me to keep clean topology, and the quads that I want doing it this way. So if I like just solo out the pants and I go down to the lowest subdivision level, like it's crispy, right? It's super clean, which is what I want. Like if I'm gonna make UVs for this, which I could easily do, it's just easier for me to do it this way than using Marvelous. That's all. I own Marvelous. I just don't use it that much. So anyway, let's go back to the princess. Is it this one? Yes. All right, cool. All right, so we're gonna redo her cape, and I'm going to figure out her. I see I'm getting some weird kind of like artifacting down here on this base that I have when I turn on the booleans. But let's figure out something very quick and dirty, shall we? I will make a cube. Let's go to something that doesn't have subdivision levels. Maybe this G. Duplicate it, and let's make it a cube. Alright, layers turned on. I didn't mean to do that. I just want to move the cube. All right. So if you're new to ZBrush, this little icon right here on top of the Gizmo 3D, if you turn it on, I call it pizza boxes. If you turn it on and you see the multiple pizza boxes, you're manipulating more than one subtool at a time. If you click on it again, it's just the one, which is what I want, right? So I'm just gonna mess around with this. I just want to get something that is a good proxy for a base. All right. I'm gonna scale it down. I just don't want her to fall over, right? That's the whole point. So what I was thinking that could be kind of cool is like a swoosh, like could look kind of dynamic if there was a swooshy thing that was under here. And I took some screen grabs, so let me sketch it up for you real quick. Let's go to here, close this wonderful piece of art, and open desktop. Let's open this one. All right. Canvas size, make it larger. 15, 15. Okay. All right. She reminds me of June. Yeah, that's exactly who she is. That's exactly who she is. Pavlovich has a tutorial on how to export good topology from. Oh, word? Okay, Insane Pixel. Thank you. But like, seriously, is there anything that Mike Pavlovich doesn't have a really good tutorial for? He's got a good tutorial for everything. Mike is a beast. All right, let's go back. And, but I didn't know he had one for that, so I will definitely check that out. Thank you. All right, let's delete. What's wrong there? Okay, and now put this underneath and turn on. Okay. Now I can sketch, you guys. Delete, and let's merge these down. Merge, visible. Okay, cool. All right, so now I can sketch this out. And for some reason, I want to flip her the other way. So, flip, horizontal. Okay, cool, cool, cool. I didn't even get coffee or water or anything to drink. I am so out of practice on streaming. It's been way too long. All right, so what I was thinking about was like, I want like there to be like this kinetic kind of a thing going on. So I was thinking that maybe there's some kind of a swoosh. That's awesome, right? All great things start from garbage. Remember that, everyone. I don't know. So there on. And then from the top, if you're looking at it, maybe kind of like a Silver Surfer kind of a thing. You know, the surfboard deal. Something simple. It's boring right now. We'll figure it out. What's the word on mic drops? Yeah, I need to do that. That's the word. In fact, you know what? Wacom is going to send me... So I'm thinking of a contest. Wacom's going to send me an extra one of these tablets. I'm going to give one to my daughter, but they're sending me another one. And I want to do some type of a contest to maybe give it away. So what I'm thinking is it's either going to be a thing where you guys send in ideas for what you'd like to see mic drops tutorials on. And if you don't know what mic drops are, if you go to my YouTube, which is here. If you go to my YouTube, you'll see a section that says mic drops, right? And basically what it is me doing little short tutorials on whatever you want to see. I did one for Photoshop and one for ZBrush and things like that. But you ask me whatever you want to know, I'll go on there, I'll do a little video, put some cool music behind it and pop it up, and then you have it. It's kind of like, I don't know, kind of like Ask ZBrush, but on a much, much less ambitious level, right? And nowhere near what Pavlovich would do. Imagine my thing like the Cliff Notes of what Mike would do, right? Mike is giving you the whole meal, I'm giving you like an appetizer. So that's it. All right, so as I look at this, I'm thinking of things that I want to do here. If I get back to this, I want to change her cape so that it's more stiff. Their capes are much more like this, right? And they also kind of flare out like this. Okay. If I go over to Google and do a search for images, right, and bring this over here, you can see that their capes are way more stylized, like this here. Let's move this, which is cool, and that's kind of what I want. And when they billow out, they should be more, I don't know, like cartoony, I think. Even though she's realistic, I want it to feel like this. Alex Ross does a very good version where even though he paints it realistically, they still look stylized. Here's one of his pieces, right? And he keeps that look, and I always liked that. I liked it a heck of a lot more than mine. Even on this, somebody already did Ken for Prime 1, and they have that look, which, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? Here's hers down. That's Alex Ross. So I'm going to do that deal. I'm gonna straight steal that concept and do it myself, y'all. And I can sculpt it right in here, and you guys can see me do a little bit of fabric stuff. So that being said, let's get out of here. Let's go back to ZBrush. Okay, for this base, I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna call this, rename this base whip, duplicate this, and this is also gonna be the cape, because I like to, maybe, what could be interesting is if, you know what, dude, I'm thinking, what if I had that cape shape is the base, and then I also have it as the cape? Bear with me. The bottom would be more graphic, obviously, but that could be kind of cool to have it spread out underneath of their logo, and then that's the base, and then her. I can't talk good. I don't talk good today, you guys. And then she would have obviously the more shaped cape. Shape capes. Coming soon to a store near you. Alright, so I'm going to show you how I do everything. This is how I do everything. I use the, do I have two? Yeah, I have two here. Alright, I'm going to delete hidden. I always use ZModeler, right? I don't go to external. Even though I have Maya, I'm not good at Maya. I'm not good at 3D applications. So that's why I love ZModeler. So what I'll do is I'll auto group these, right? I only need one, hide the other and delete it, right? This is gonna be my new cape. Everything starts this way. So now what I can do is I can go into ZModeler and I can hover, dude. Okay, unexpected quit. But it's gonna save it for me, I know it is. I have faith. Force quit. Every once in a while you get a force quit. Today, when I need it not to happen. It happened. Yeah. Anybody have any questions while I'm restarting? Anyone? I'm going to take that as a no. All right, cool. Show again, quick save. Yeah, there it is right there. All right, so recover document. I'm going to do this one recovered. At some point it's gonna be there. How's the Rick and Morty sculpt? Good. I think the last time I worked on it was when I was streaming. I've been working lately, doing a lot of stuff. I actually am doing a couple things for Sideshow, and so I got busy. And I got a kid in college, so I got to keep that gravy train rolling. You know what I mean? It should not take that long to open this. Come on, dude. Seriously? Come on. Okay. All right. You know what I can be doing? I'll be getting reference in the meantime. Let's do that reference thing. In the meantime, wait for the program. Where's my reference board? Dude, I'm gonna close it. Okay. Start this again. First, I need my reference board, which I don't know where it is. Is it here? There it is. All right, so let's start grabbing some reference. And I'm just dragging and dropping. This is PureRef, if you guys don't know. P-U-R-R-E-F. I'm just grabbing some pictures right off of the web. That's a good one. That was a good one. I just want one that's kind of flowy. This is kind of cool. It's graphic, but it's cool. All right. Let me know what they are when they release. I'll pick up a couple. Oh, the Rick and... Oh, my things? Yeah, definitely will. Definitely. Thank you. All right. All right, cool. So that's that. I'm gonna move this over here. Let's try ZBrush one more time. This time I'm just going to open the last quick save. Hopefully that'll do it. Let's do this one. Come on, baby. It's not even that big. I don't know what the deal is. Okay, there you go. All right, so document size is now tiny. When I force quit, for some reason, I go back to the default 1920 by 1172. So I usually double it and just drag out my tool again. See frame. Okay. Boolean. Okay, I have this piece, which is fine. This is the base. Let's quickly go back and do what I did before. I'm just going to turn on the poly group so I can see what I have. Isolate the top and the bottom. Top and the bottom so I can see them both. Delete hidden. And then I auto group these, so now I have two different poly groups. hide one, delete it. All right, cool. Now I just have a polyplane, which is all I want, right? So if I unhide stuff and turn off the live boolean, all right, now I have just my polyplane. So what I can do at this point is I can duplicate this. Let's call this base working again, and this time I'm going to save. Finish key up either. I need to finish that. I start all these things and then I never finish them. Alright, I'm going to call this ZBrush Live June. Her name is June. She's a princess. She's a space princess, you guys. Alright. Hulk. Late. Where were you? Took the vote like a long time ago. I love ZBrush, must add you up. Thank you. Thanks, RJ. How do I keep everything so clean? Soap? What are we talking about? The model? I like to keep low, like a really low version of the mesh. And then I only add detail as I need it. So like if we were to isolate these gloves and you look at them, like this all started off looking like this, right? That's all that was. And then I would add some wrinkles, and then when I got to the point where I could not support any more detail, I would divide once, and then I would add more wrinkles, and divide again. Like I would do this until I got to the point where I was happy. And by working this way and not just adding a bunch of subdivision levels, then sculpting, because I notice when I do that, everything looks really wobbly and wonky and everything. I hate that. So I only add the subdivision levels as I need them. And then I can get something like this, right? Where if I wanted to go in and add, you know, like say I wanted to add some more cut lines, I could just go in and then just kind of drag them out. Let's see. Turn up the intensity. Yeah, I could go in and drag them out, right, like that. So it's clean. And even this, like this is low, right? This is, I mean, it's not low. It's 1.9 million polys. That's not that low. I guess, oh, you know why? I know why. Anybody? Because I have an inside. I don't need the inside. So this is really wasted geo, right? All of this, I have the inside sculpted and the outside. So if I was to go here and flip it, right? I just flipped the geo. So now you're seeing the inside. That's why it looks weird like this. And none of this should exist. So a quick way to take care of this problem, I'll flip it back, right? So one way to fix this is, and let's do it, right? Because I hate wasting geo. If I can add that somewhere else later on, I will. But for this, it's not needed. And if I'm printing it, obviously I don't want this open like this. It's a mistake. So I'm gonna clone this. Right, now I have just the gloves, right? And I'll duplicate this. And I'll go down to the lowest sub D level. Okay. And then I'll look at it. Now, luckily, what I did is I have polygroups, right? Which is pretty good for me. I guess the inside of the glove is a separate one as well. Let's do this. Yeah, Okay, even the fingers. So this is how I got these fingers sculpted at first. They were all their own poly group. So it'd probably be easier just to hide the outside. Okay, and there's the inside, right? I don't want any of this. I do want it to have a cuff on her arm, so I want to keep some of it. Probably, let's do this. If I were to go and grab the lasso and I hide that part, almost got everything I wanted. All right, let's do this. Shrink, 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 shrink. All right, what I have here is, by hitting shrink and grow, you can add to the loops, right? So everything that you're not seeing is hidden, and I just reversed the selection, right? So like that's one part, this is the other part. One part is hidden, and I want to keep about this much. I don't need anything inside of here, right? I don't need any of that. And I do have that other hand kind of here, so let's see. Yeah, that'll work, right? Okay, let's do this. I think I want to keep another loop here. Yeah, that'll work. All right, so now I can, what happened to her fingers? Dude, I don't want to delete her fingers. All right, hide that. Inside and outside. Okay, auto group. Yeah, auto group to the rescue. All right. So let's do this. Take these fingers here. Okay. Now I just have the inside of her hand. Okay, and her arm. That's all I want to delete. I want to keep the outside, lose the inside. So I did, and now what I can do is I can delete hidden. Okay. The only thing about this is when you do that, when I go back in my jump back up my subdivision levels, I'm probably going to lose detail. Alright, see how things got a little mushy here? They got soft. If I go back to the original, see how crisp it is? That just happens when you step down and change the geometry and then step back up again. So what I can do is I can project the detail from the outside of the glove onto this. So I have both of them turned on, right? And I have solo on, so I'm only seeing one at a time. So I'm going to go over to project and change my distance to 0.2 and project all. And this should fix it for me. Yeah. All right. So there you go. Now I have all my detail back. I can step back down my subdivision levels. It's all good. What I'm thinking though is I want to close the hole on this, right? Because if I was going to print this, which I am, I would want to have a flat surface here and I want to key it. So let's do another thing. I'm going to undo the project, right? Okay, step back down. How many subdivision levels do I have? Let's see, go to geometry. Okay, there's 5 levels of subdivision. So I'm gonna go back down to 1. I'm going to, do I still have the other one? Okay. I'm going to delete my higher subdivision levels. Okay, so now this is all I have. And now because I got rid of the higher sub D levels, I can close the hole. Okay, so now I have both ends of it capped, which is perfect because if I look at the Zion, the way you can hide edges is to hide them inside of the clothing. So like that's the inside of his short, and here's his leg with his little compression short joint, and that slides right in, and you don't have to worry about a big ugly seam, right? There's no seam because it's hitting the shorts. So that's what I'm going to do with her arms. I'll have the gloves be a piece, her upper arm will be a piece, and that'll pop in, and then I can, you know, detail it more. I mean, I guess I could print the arms as just one thing too, but I have it. So let's look at what I have here, right? And now that is, it doesn't matter what that inside looks like, right? It doesn't matter that it's triangles. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to reproject my details back. So let's, I want to have these gloves and fingers on one thing. Oops. Okay, so there, that's one group. Okay, and these end caps, I'm just going to mask that part. Okay, so I have just the end caps isolated. I'm masking it, right? And then when I project the detail from the other arm, because the other arm doesn't have that end cap, I didn't want it to be any weird kind of spikes that occur because it gets confused. All right, let's go and see. I missed a lot of stuff here. What's happening? Waiting for the Intuos, the Intuos Pro Medium. Yeah. Battle of the Planets, absolutely. Hulk, Hulk, Hulk. RJ, where were you, man? Too late. Too late, brother. No Hulk. Not this time. It is Princess. What's up, guys? Best artist. If that's for me, thank you. Tip of the cap, sir. That detail, your stuff is just phenomenal. Hey, thanks, Bates. All right, cool. So now let's go back to Subtool. Has this song changed at all? Has it been the same song the whole time? I don't even know. Let's see. Let me know. On VLC, I can never tell if I'm looping one song or the whole album. Let's do this. Let's get to the end. Let's see what happens. Just bear with me, you guys. All right. Same song? Haha, same song, sorry. You don't want 3 hours of the same song, that would suck. Okay, cool, all right. Mission accomplished. All right, so now let's project the low sub D and see what happens. See if we get any of this detail. Okay, let's add some subdivision levels. So the other one I said I had 6, right? Geometry. Sorry, I have 5. So let's go to, let's go to this one and go to geometry and divide, 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 divide. All right. Okay. Now it's super soft, no detail at all. Let's go back down. And I want to mask the inside like I did before. And one way to do this where you, I have a feeling I'm going to get some spikes, so let's do this. I'm going to go to the highest subdivision level, and I'm going to add a morph target. Store morph target, okay. And I'm going to jump back down, and I'll show you why you would want to have that in a minute. but let's isolate that cap. Okay, mask it, bring back the other joint. Let's go back to Subtool. And now this is the one that has my detail. This is the one that has the proper end cap. So I want to project the detail from the other one. So let's step up and project. Okay, let's step up and project. Okay, step up, project. And one more time. Yeah, project. Okay. All right, so actually, that's as high as it goes, right? I think so. Geometry. Yeah, that's the top. All right, so now if I look at the other one, let's compare the two. Yeah, it's a little more crisp. So maybe what I'll do is I'll divide it one more time. Divide, and then I will step back down. Step back up. And don't worry about that inside, I'll fix it. And project one more time. Alright, this should fix it. If I go down one, yeah, okay, that's good. So I mean, I went in and I literally like sculpted all of these seams. It would be a shame to lose them after I did all that, right? So might as well get it. So now for the inside of this, right, I'm not gonna see it, nobody's gonna see it, so it doesn't matter, but I still would like to have it be flush. Like, why print that crappy detail that doesn't need to be there anyway? So it's always best to step down the subdivision levels and then kind of smooth and step up. I also want to make sure that when I'm smoothing, I have backface masking turned on, because if I don't, it's going to smooth out the other side of whatever thin materials you have. All right, so let's just smooth this and then step up. This. It's just easier to do it from the bottom to the top, because if you're trying to smooth something that has millions of polygons, obviously it's going to be harder than if you have, you know, hundreds or thousands. Do the other one. So now I'll just show you if I smooth it without going from the bottom, and just show you. See, I just have to do it longer. If I turn off color, it's probably easier to see. Like, and it's a pain. So just step down and then erase. Smooth rather. And just go up as you're doing this. All right. And if you get any areas that are like this where it looks like the mesh is kind of just spiking on the other side, like I think if we isolate this and turn it over and turn on double so you can see it's just spiking on the other side, which nobody's even going to see this, so it doesn't matter. But if you have like ADHD like me, you have to fix that. So I'm going to turn on my Sculptris Pro. Oh, you know what? I can't do that because you can't have subdivision levels with Sculptris Pro. Right. Is that supposed to look that way? Yeah, you can't have subdivision levels. I would have to delete everything lower, and I don't want to do that. I mean, when I'm ready to actually cut and key it, then I can do that. But like right now, I might build this base and decide I want to bend her arm a little bit more. I might want to twist it out a little bit more. Maybe the fingers need to be twisted a little bit. So keeping the lower subdivision levels, like manipulating something that looks like this, is a whole lot easier than something that looks like this, right? So that's that. All right, there's the top, there's the bottom. Okay, these look the same, that's fine. All right, cool, so now these gloves are done. If I wanted to, say, key the arm in there, what I could do is I could go back to go back to this one and grab her body and let's copy. So much of this isn't needed. Like, you can't see any of her body, right? So I could delete all this. I sculpted it, so I was like, I've been holding on to it, but really it's kind of a moot point to keep any of this right now. And so if I just pasted this here, let's do a quick save. What's up, Ronald? Editing drug, what's up? What about masking and polishing? Yeah, I could do that too. That's a good idea. That is a good idea. I think if it was visible, I would. Bates, because you don't see it, I really don't care right now. But yeah, if it's on the outside, definitely that's how I'd address that problem. Right, so I turn off that. Now if I turn off solo, there you go, she's got her gloves. And if I print this, and say I wanted to mold, do a mold of it, what I would probably do at this point, right? I don't want that much of, yeah, like that's out there too far. So let's do this. See, this is a good idea because I have these lower sub-D levels. I can go back down, and if I want to draft this right onto the skin so that I don't have a really nasty undercut that's going to come back and bite me in the behind later on, I can just move these parts, right? Like, say I want it to stick out a little bit, I can do that and then inflate it, and it's not as bad. But you don't want to have something like this, right? Because if you do, that's just a place for the mold to lock up when you pour it. If anybody doesn't know about printing things and making molds of them, basically you don't want undercuts. If you have an undercut, that's a place for the resin to go in and stick, and then when you go to pull it out of the mold, it's gonna lock. It's not gonna come out, right? So you want this to be snug on your skin, ideally. It's a whole lot of information for people who probably like, oh, what the hell are you talking about? I just wanted to see you sculpt something, man. What are you talking about, dude? Just locking. All right, so that's better, right? Now, what I can do is if I step back up, it's clean. All right, and this, somebody asked me earlier, how do I keep my stuff clean? That's how I keep it clean. Now, if I went over here at 2.9 million polys and I tried to move this, it's going to, I have a whole lot more geo there that can look wonky, right? So like, say if I move this, you see how that looks? Not good, right? But if I step down and then I move it, and then I step back up again, it's cleaner. Right? That's the point. Okay, so let's do the same thing usually make the move brush really big, and then I make these giant sweeps to it. And it's okay if I penetrate the arm, I can always just pull it back out again. Alright, so there's that. And then another thing, like little things like keeping in mind stuff like gravity is going to help the person that looks at this feel like, oh, she feels more like a real person. Or it feels more like the cloth was done in Marvelous Designer, because Marvelous is taken into account that, you know, if you have something and you hang it out there, gravity's going to pull it down. If I had the top here, and the top had a big thing going on like this, and the bottom was snug, I mean, I guess maybe she flung her arm up and it did that, but it makes more sense if it's like you have the loose part on the bottom. Right, that's it. And these are things I take into account with my illustrations too. If you don't know who I am, I'm a person who illustrates for a living, and I just started sculpting for clients, but I'll tell you how old I am. For like 30 years I've been illustrating, and doing like movie posters and toy packaging and things like that. So that's what that is. Boom, 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 boom. All right, that's cool. So now for these areas that are open, what I can do is, because I have separate groups, I can go and separate poly groups. I can go and just hide one, right? Mask it, and then if I want to, I can inflate it. So if I come back over here and I grab my inflate tool and just inflate it until it's snug up on the arm, right? And then I don't have any undercuts. For PLA, undercuts aren't as big of a deal, which is the filament printer. But if you're printing with resin, you want it to be watertight, and anywhere where air can get in there is going to be a problem. So it's better just to get into the habit of not doing that. All right. Cool. All right, so that's that. So now if I jump back up my subdivision levels, it looks like that, right? Which is a little bit bubbly. I can grab my polish tool and just hit the edge. Let's hide. Let's do this. I only want this part. Go back over here. Yeah. So I can just clean this up. I don't want it to look like a balloon, basically. Okay. And yeah, so now the other thing to keep in mind too is, what is the fabric you're sculpting? This is like a leather glove, so it's going to be thicker, and it's going to drape differently than something like silk or polyester or whatever. I used to be in the print, and I used to be in the fashion industry for a long time. So these are all things that kind of stay in the back of my mind. So when you look at something like this, it's supposed to feel like this is a jersey material, you know, and because of that, it's got a whole lot more wrinkles than a leather item would have, right? It's not going to be as wrinkly because it's thicker. This is thinner. Maybe this is silk or nylon or something, who knows, whatever. You didn't know you'd be hearing all this, did you? It's a whole lot of stuff. Alright, so that's that. Let's do the same thing for this arm over here. Maybe let's do this a different way this time, right? I like the outside of this one. So what I can do is I can isolate, step down. Alright, let's do this. I'm gonna isolate just this little rim part, right? And I only want the inside to move, I don't want the outside to move. So let's do this. Let's, I wonder if I can mask it this way, let's see. Oh yeah, cool, all right, so I'm holding down the Alt key or Option on a Mac. Let's see, wait a minute. And if you drag it at the right angle, you can kind of just get, it's hard to see like this. Let's step up, get some more geometry. See how I'm doing that? I'm just dragging my cursor and it automatically kind of masks out the area that I want. Now I do want to keep some of this separated. So what I'll do is I'll go in and I'll get rid of that rim there, right? And let's see if I can get rid of that. Yeah, that's cool. All right, I just want to make sure I have the right thing isolated, which is just the inside. Okay. All right, that's cool. So when I have that, you can see that if I step up, then I have just the inside there unmasked, and if I blur that mask, okay. So if I blur that mask, and then I do my inflate, the outside should be protected. So now I can go in and just inflate the inside, right? Does a little bit of the outside, but it's a lot better. And even if I do, like, let's put on back face mask. Like this. I don't want to deform the outside, right? So little things like this would help. And again, you're not going to see the inside of this glove. So it can look really crappy on the inside. It's okay. Alright, so there's that. Now if I bring back the arm, go back here to the glove. Took the mask off. I don't want to do that. Alright, there's that. Yeah, I can even just grab the move tool and pull it. Wait a minute. See, it just pulls the inside. So now when I turn on the arm, I have something like that. Okay. And I can even move it a little more. All right. That's a whole lot for the arms, but you get the picture. Okay. So I like these gloves. I can go back and I can replace the other ones. Let's say we name these gloves fixed, and copy these, and go back over here, and go to these and delete these. Yes, and paste. Okay. All right, so these are the gloves I want. All right, these are the ones I want to print. So now I can save as. Save, okay. Let's see what questions I missed. Do you sculpt in a pose or start with the actual pose? Start with the actual pose. You would, wait, what? Do you sculpt in a, oh, in an A pose or start in the actual pose? Yeah, I do, I kind of get the proportions in A pose, and then I'll break symmetry pretty early. I had a whole stream about that. I like to get my character in pose as early as possible because that kind of helps me inform the sculpt itself, right? The proportions and all that stuff. But obviously, if I'm going to be doing something like, I don't know, working on the something that's very symmetrical, like for this one I didn't do it, but probably making the boot first and then breaking symmetry would have been the move. I didn't do it that way. I would like to see something about your process of composition for future lives. Composition. By composition, Ronald, are you talking about the pose or the just the entire kind of design of the statue itself? Let me know. I have some difficulty in this part, the presentation of my characters. Okay, yeah, no, I'd love to help you out. Beta, how do you get such clean looking seams? So the seams are done with a combination of lazy mouse and damn standard, and then the inflate. So I can show you, let's say I want a seam on this skirt. What I would do is, and this probably needs to be subdivided again to have the kind of seam that I'm looking for. Let's see. Let's go to morph target store in case I mess up. But yeah, if I use the damn standard or the slash is even better, right? Turn up my lazy mouse. Let's turn her on to see where the seam would be. So yeah, I know that I want it to end. I want it to end about here, right? And I want it to start about up here. So yeah, I would kind of, oops. So I usually turn the lazy radius up to around 30, and I would drag it out. Now you see how it's very, like I gotta subdivide this again. Let's divide it one more time. Okay. So now it's clean, but I want even a longer pull line. There you go. Then that way I can try to get it as clean as possible. Right, so that's pretty good. Alright, I want to put this up here where it's going to be hidden, and I want to get rid of this. Okay. And I want it to end here. So. Just draw it out like that, right? And then that's kind of what I have going on for that part of the seam. Now what I can do at this point is I'll grab my mask tool, and I usually go and mask one side as clean as I can. Oh, come on, dude. Oh, it let go. Yeah, as clean as I can, like this. You want to get it as nice as you can, right? So I like using the mask lasso. Okay, and then when that's done, I probably would want the larger piece on the top like that. I would go and I would grab my inflate tool, grab the lazy mouse, and then I would inflate that part up. Okay, and you can barely see what happens. So I have a replay last on my UI that if I click it a couple times, you'll be able to see. Does it do anything? Yeah, it is. Okay, there it is. I just need to turn up the intensity. It was only on 10. So let's do it again this way so you can see me doing it here. Like that. And then if I hit replay last, see. There. So now it's like a 3-part thing. Now at that point what I can do is I can go and just kind of move the other side up a little bit and get rid of some of that gap. Like that. And there's my seam. Alright, so it can be clean. Alright, what else? Good color 3D printer out there. Oh man, I don't know anything about 3D printing in color. I would say print it and paint it. I just bought a whole bunch of airbrush stuff too. I haven't airbrushed in a long time, like 20 years I don't think. But I have my brushes, I got a nice compressor, and I'm ready to rock and roll. Right. But yeah, that's how I do my seams. That's it. I built the whole glove this way, and it gives me a really clean look. I like it. Now, if I decide that for whatever reason I messed that seam up, or it's in the wrong place, or I just don't like it, then I can go back to my, wait a minute, I should be able to, yeah, I can go back to my morph target and I can just switch and get rid of it, all right? So, no harm, no foul. That's how I built her blouse and got this seam up here. I just inflated the one on her, kind of her chest a little more to get rid of the the gap, and that's a nice look too. But yeah. Anyway, all right, that's that. What are some drawing tablets you recommend for this sort of work, Cintiq or tablets without screen? All right, so the Intuos is great. I used an Intuos for a long time before I got my first Cintiq. The only thing about that is I noticed that if you can see, where's my picture? All right. So like if I move this camera, if you can see my hand, right? I was like this all day, every day, for hours and hours, and I didn't take breaks. I was like that all the time. And I noticed that I was working on a project for Mattel. I had to paint all these superhero boxes, not the boxes themselves, but the superheroes on the box. And I started to really, my wrist started burning, like it was hurting really bad. I started to get carpal tunnel. And so, I mean, it was really, really bad. So at that point, the only reason I didn't have a Cintiq was the cost was prohibitive at the time. I had 2 young kids, and I just couldn't justify $2,500 for a Cintiq. But you know, I was like, look, my health or a Cintiq, and so I sucked it up and I got it. And now my hand is moving all over the screen, and it's never in the same place. I can isolate my elbow so I don't have to worry about, you know, my shoulder hurting or whatever. And I can even change the angle of the screen. And so, you know, ergonomically way, way better, and the money was worth it. Now, if you can't afford that, like I was saying, I'm going to be doing a stream for Wacom this week, or the 12th. And I'm going to be showing this thing, which is a Cintiq, but it's an entry level, also for mid-grade consumers. That it's only $400, and that's damn near the same price of a Intuos, a good Intuos, and you work right on the screen. So that's pretty fresh. So that was a long way of saying what you wanted to know. If Wacom's not your thing, I don't know. You can look at some of the other brands. There's like, you know, there's a lot of other brands you can look at. I'm just partial to Wacom. I've been using them pretty much my entire career. What's up, Side Effects? Is it cold in your room? It is not cold in my room. I have not cut my hair. Thank you for coming here and blowing up my spot, Side Effects. I have not cut my hair, and I need to. So I'm wearing a cap. Look at that. Yikes! Yeah, no, I need a haircut. My barber was MIA yesterday. Also, I'm giving a shout to my buddy Jerry for his hard ops application. What else? Your trace is so precise. That's the lazy mouse. That's a lazy mouse. I'm not that good, believe me. Yeah, Humion's good. Appreciate it. Thanks. Studying anatomy. Trying to make anything you should be doing. So as far as anatomy is concerned, if you haven't, get yourself a nice statue or books, both. I picked up these guys. I'm painting one, forgive me, but I picked up these guys from 3D Total. I think they were like $175, $150, something like that each. They're great for learning, you know, the all you need to know. And but I got this a few years ago. This is amazing. This is by Andrew Kars, and it's a giant freaking statue that has cutaways of all the muscles, and the arms are all on with magnets. Head. This is amazing, and I use this all the time. So if you look at the difference between my anatomy on something like if you look at the difference between my anatomy on this, which is where I was before I really started studying anatomy, this is me thinking, oh, I know how this stuff is supposed to work and where these things are supposed to be. And then you look at, you know, years of practice, and it's like, you know, come on, what are you gonna do? You gotta practice, right? Get your 10,000 hours. All right, buenas tardes. You look cool in it either way. 16, yeah, definitely. Bump up the volume on me or the music. I can adjust my microphone, get that a little closer. And mic, turn up is that up all the way? Bear with me 1 second here, let's see. Yeah, my mic is turned all the way up. So Maybe I just need to talk louder. All right, where was I? Back to the grill again. Me. All right, I'll just try to talk louder. How about that? Do you still use that bodybuilding? Yeah. No, there's some great books to look at some of my earlier streams. I have some really good anatomy books that aren't next to me at the moment. I got stuff everywhere. Yeah. Thank you so much. I'm new to it. Good. No problem. No problem. That's why I'm here. That is why I'm here. All right, so then when she has a seam on one side of her skirt, I could put a seam on the other side of the skirt. But you know what? She's in the future. In the future, they only sew it on one side. And they might do it in the now as well. I don't know. Not a big skirt guy. So let's go back over here. It's funny, now that I look at this and I haven't touched it in a long time, there's parts on here that I'm like, I want to work on this, I want to work on this. Whole lot of things I want to work on, but this is how things don't get done, is you continue to work on things. You gotta at some point say, you know what, it's good enough. It's good enough. Put it down, man. Let's turn down, this is way too high. One thing about these folds, though, is that obviously the more pronounced they are on your sculpt, the better they're going to print. I mean, I've done things where I do all of this detailing and I'm like, man, that looks great. Or even texturing, I'm like, that looks great. And then when it's actually printed, you don't see anything at all. It's just disappears. You know what I'm saying. All right, so that's that. I think I have the same thing going on with the boots. Let's check those out. Yeah, boots completely hollow on the inside too. What a mess. All right, I don't need all that geo either, so let's do the thing with the boots that I did with the other thing. Copy. Let's go over to here and paste. Step down and duplicate. Now you know what I didn't do? I did not isolate the inside and the outside of the boot. But, good thing is, I have this low of a subdivision level. So what I can do now, this part is cool. What I can do is I can grab just the top edge, most of the top edge. Oh, come on, dude. All right, let's do this. Take that. Oh, I see what it's doing there. Do this. I just want that top edge, so there you go. All right, I grouped that. It's its own group. Now I come over here. Do the same thing with this one. Out some, grow, and then delete what I don't want. I don't want any of this purple. Let's get rid of that. And let's get rid of... Oh wait, what am I doing? You know what? I'm doing this the wrong way. All I have to do... Yeah, just get the red. Now this is the good part about the shrinking. I can just shrink it. One time, boom. That's what I wanted. All right, Working not smart, not smart. You know that old saying. Work smart, not smart. Or hard. One of those things. All right, cool. So that's that. Now what I can do is I can hide. Hide. Wait a second. Okay, good. All right, I have just the two top edges, right? And if I hide them now, and I go and I hit auto group, look at that. Inside, outside, separated, you guys. I know. All right, so now I can get rid of that and that. Oops. Okay, this is the inside. I don't care about any of this, right? I don't need this. This is just a geo that's only, it's just taking up space, and if I was to do a resin print, more often than not, it would cause problems. All right, what I want is this. And I know for a fact that her boots do kind of come out around her leg. So I want to have some of the, I want to have some of that, I want to keep some of that inside. We'll learn how to talk is what I want to do. All right, so now a good way to do that is if I shrink what's visible, it gets rid of a poly loop at a time. And I really want to take it down to about here. Now if I switch back, see what I have? I have the inside there. So I can delete everything else. I don't care about any of the rest of it. So if I hit delete hidden, just like last time, it's going to delete the hidden, obviously. It does what it says. Then I can close holes. Let me see something first. Yeah, all right, close holes. Multiple, oh, I didn't, I got to delete the subdivision level first. Okay, first. Okay, let's get rid of, let's do it this way this time, right? I'm gonna grab this boot and delete it. This is the one, duplicate, that I like. All right, this time I'm gonna delete the lower on the high res. I'm gonna go to this one, the low res, and I'm gonna delete higher. Okay. And now if I were to close holes on that one, close holes on this one, if I add subdivision levels and project, I should be able to get all that detail back, and I don't have to worry about masking anything. Man, I can't talk today. Point 2, tab, project. Okay, already looking good. Divide, project, divide, project. Okay, I think 3. How's the other one look? A little crispy on the other one. Let's go. That's pretty close though. Let's see. What the heck? I'll divide one more time. Divide, project. Okay. All right. So now look at the inside. Much cleaner, right? That's better. Way better. And then her legs can just pop right in there. So if we turn on her body, there you go. Right, nice and clean. I can stand to thicken up this a little bit, especially since it's going to be that far off the model. And I do kind of want to keep it that far off the model. So clearly I'm going to cut her thigh from her boot, join those two pieces together with a key. The legs will pop inside of the skirt and be hidden. And then we're good to go, right? So I like these boots. I'm going to, they're already called good boots, rename. Let's say just boots. Beats, boots. Okay. Copy these, go back over here, take these old good boots, delete these good boots, paste. Yeah, paste these good boots. Paste these new boots. There you go. And you can see sometimes I get crazy with it. Like I made this whole zipper to go in the boot. That's just a separate piece of geo. It was an insert mesh for the zipper, and but then I just did that thing I showed you with the drawing out the crease to get nice clean lines. It looks like it got soft though. What happened to my creases? I don't like that. All right, I think I'm gonna have to redraw those lines. Slash. Let's try this again. I can't talk and draw. Don't say anything, you guys. Okay. That's better. All right, that's that one. Let's see. Do you pose your characters in ZBrush? Yes, I use Transpose Master. James. Man, it was a long time that I don't take some free time. Visit Brazil. Man, I would love to come to Brazil. Are you kidding me? It's a deal, Ronald. Congratulations, you received 100 messages. Yay. Outstanding work as always. Thank you. Thank you, Stefano. James, what printer to use for the sculpts? Printer is the Ender 5. Do you post your characters with just transposing and masking? That's all. What up, attentive slug? What am I sculpting? Princess, yep. Yeah. Yes, refining for the print. You've been here enough times to know that this is not my first time with the princess. The princess and I have spent many hours together. I don't know what happened to this seam. It just kind of disappeared. Okay. And again, this is just me inflating. And it's doing two things. It's pulling up the edge on the either side of the seam and pulling it together at the same time. So I'm killing two birds with one stone and getting like a nice leather look, which is all I did for those gloves. Like the gloves is pretty much that technique. All right. Ah, she's wearing just like a boot and a shoe. Let's flip to the other one. Standard, I want slash. That's too big. Yeah, I like when I make clothes and people ask me if I made them in, that's a mistake, don't do it that way. People ask me if I make them in Marvelous. It feels good. It's a good feeling. Meanwhile, YouTube is going to be like, dude, just use Marvelous. What are you doing? Okay, there's that. All right. All right, I'll do. Okay. So let's save this before I lose it. Just for do this perfect boot line. 10 minutes for me. My hand shaking. Yeah, mine does too. Thanks, Ronald. Great news, KKK. I don't know what that is, but it scares me. Finally got enough bread to get your okay. What is your graphic tablet, dude? The 32-inch Pro, Cintiq 32 Pro. Oh, replay last? No, I think they've had replay last in all of the iterations. Yeah, pretty sure they've had that for a long time. Thanks, Zofo. Where? Oh, where is it? Under stroke, I want to say. Stroke. Modifiers. Stroke, modifiers, replay last. Right there. All right, cool. So that is that. Where were we? Where were we? What day is it? Oh, the cape. I want to do a different cape. Let's do a different cape, shall we? This cape is whack. All right, and I have my ref. I want it to be more like this. It's way easier. Way more chill, man. She needs a considerable amount more chill. Didn't I have okay, good logo. I had a layer with the cape. Collar, watch, base. Okay, I didn't my base, I had to duplicate the base, that's what it was. All about that base, y'all. Let's put this here. Oh, control 1 is for replay last. Okay. With the all right. There's a base. W. I want to duplicate this. This is going to be her new cape. And let's do this before I really kind of get it the way that it's going to fit on her. I think what I'm going to do, I'm putting this ref over here. You guys, I need my screen real estate. I'm just going to kind of get it in position. So let's go back to here, solo this. I want to how do I want to do this? All right, I know how I want to do this. Insert edge, multiple edge loops. Let's try this. That's too many. Let's say, let's keep it on. Let's want an even number. Even number. 8 was fine. All right, and that. Let's see something. 7. Oops. Back on it. Let's try 7. 7. Delete that. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. All right, I'm just kind of looking at this as I'm going here. So now I want to do a single edge here, single edge here. Oops. All right, let me, I don't want this here. Hide. Okay. It's gonna look real whack at first, you guys. Just bear with me. Just figuring it out. How I want to do this. There's a split hidden. There you go. Dude, come on. Okay, now because none of this is creased, this is just going to turn into kind of a mess when I do a dynamic subdivision. So again, just trying this out, just bear with me. see it won't hold anything like this. What I can do, right, that's a mess there. So when I was doing my Thanos helmet and everything, like I do stuff in ZModeler, and I like to just kind of push points around until I come up with something that I like. Sometimes it takes a couple of trial and error type of things before I get it exactly how I want. But eventually I get there. I think, let me see something. Let's do give this some thickness. Q-mesh, extrude, polygroup all. Give it a little thickness here, and then I'm going to give it an edge. This. And let's see just what happens if I were to crease. See, if I don't crease here, it's not going to hold these points. So what I could do, let's see. I really just want to crease these. It's parcel. That's the whole thing. Edge, edge, edge. Let's see what this looks like. And then this one here. Edge, edge, edge. All right, let me just see what happens. All right, so that holds it. All right. So basically, I want to crease. These. This. Come on, dude. This. 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 Did I get this one? Let me see something. All right. I'm thinking it would probably be easier. You know what? Let me try something here. Let's see. If I get rid of size, I'm gonna make this easier. To delete hidden. I'm going to auto group. I'm going to delete this one. Okay. I want to now just crease. Now I can just crease one thing as opposed to creasing like 1,000 pieces. So now if I go into ZModeler and I crease this, this, I think that one's already done. This one, this one, this one. This one. What time is it? Okay. All right, and now I want to polygroup by poly loop. Okay, there's my loop again. And I want to give, what happens? Do I need to give this thickness? I missed one. Crease. Dynamic. All right, cool. Okay. So that, I missed another one. That one. All right, cool. So now I can kind of get these where I want. And I get that how I want. Now what I can do is I can bring back my girl here. Let's hide this one. I do want to keep the logo. I had like an embroidered logo on there. So I'll put that on the new one. But in the meantime, what I can do is I can just start working with this shape. And I don't care if it gets kind of ugly right now, because I'm just going to do a smooth deformation to get it back. Boom. Rotate. Now, the thing I always liked about these guys is the cape goes down over their shoulders and connects to a cowl piece, which I already made. It's right there, so that's kind of where I want this thing to hit her. What I could do now is, my neck, is solo this out. Let's go back over here. Give a little more resolution here. And let's see if I can deform these a little bit with relax. Polish. That's better. Yeah. Okay. That's more like it. Alright, so now I do want this to have some thickness. I'm going to turn off double and let's do a extrude all polys. Can't be too thin because I am going to print this. So let's do that. Let me maybe get that much thickness. And oh, see, I knew that was going to happen. All right, so when I added the thickness, it did not crease. It didn't crease the extrusion. So let's do something here. Go back and crease these. Crease, crease. I didn't forget about you guys. I'm gonna answer the questions. I just want to get this part squared away real quick. Oops. Crease. All right, cool. All right. So it's stiff looking, but that's okay because really, if we look at our reference, theirs is stiff. So I'm gonna get that flare. It'll be like a nice. She's supposed to look like a swan, and the cape is really, it kind of lends itself to that. When it's done, it's going to feel a little more along these lines. All right, so that's that. Let's see. Quick rundown of the new inexpensive Cintiq. I'm interested, but maybe I should just save up for the big boy. Gorgeous model, by the way. Thank you, Frank. So I am going to be using that Cintiq. I gotta tell you, I just unboxed it yesterday. I'm going to be using it on my Wacom streams. I have one on the 12th and I think one on the 19th, but look for me on the 12th. If you're not already following my social media, follow the stuff at the bottom. I'll let you know when I'm going to stream. Definitely follow Instagram, and I'll be talking about it there. And you can see it. I'll be using it. I'll be using it for the whole thing. ZModeler is a monster with live boolean and dummy. Yeah, definitely. I love it. You can mask them, increase all. You know what? You're absolutely right. Dynamesh. I don't really mess with Dynamesh that much, Zelda. I do after I do a... So my Dynamesh workflow is when I have things that I'm really happy with, or things that I do a boolean to join, I'll take that object, and if I want to Z-remesh it, sometimes I get a better effect if I Dynamesh it all into one piece and then do the Z-remesh, as opposed to just doing a Z-remesh right off of the live boolean after I unify it. I've found it works for me sometimes. I look like Will Smith, really? I wish I had Will Smith's money. Yes, I do use Marvelous Designer. Thanks, Stick Up. If you like Will Smith. If you don't like Will Smith, hey man, why would you say that? Z-Sphere Rig. Yeah, no, I don't. I tried that early on, messing with ZBrush. I rather would just use Transpose Master. I love Transpose Master. That's my jam. I got guys who take their stuff into Maya and rig it and do things that way, which is fine, but I really like Transpose Master. And you can see, like, you get some really like natural effects. It would be easier in Marvelous. Yeah, I don't mess with. Yeah. Something about sculpting clothes for me is relaxing. It's very weird, but it is. I had to do some jeans for a character the other day, and I just kind of turn on some music and lose myself in it. How awesome would ZBrush be with a cloth sim deformer? Pretty awesome. Draw topological would have been faster. Yeah, I still would have had to worry about creasing though. Yes, gotcha, man. Alright, cool. So that is that. Let's give myself a little bit more. Let's see. Slide. So now is the fun part. Let's get my girl. Actually, let's do this. Subtool. Save. Copy. Let's go back over to this one. And paste. of subdivision levels, but I do want to divide it. Let's divide. Okay, that's cool. And I'm just taking my move tool. This would probably be up over the shoulder. I want this piece. I want to flip. Yeah. All right. I want this piece to kind of flip. It wouldn't do it from there. It would not do it from there. It would do it all the way up here. And she has a neck piece too that, like the collar. Where's the collar? Oh, there it is. Collar. Copy. Paste. All right, so everything comes out of that collar. What's really going to be fun is when I can like sculpt the little like compression wrinkles that come out of where this cape joins the collar, under the collar. I don't, for some reason I geek out over stuff like that. It's fun to me. And then, like I said, as I need it, I'll subdivide this. Right now, I don't need the extra geometry. I'm just kind of just figuring out shapes, you know, where this would go. That's not right. That ain't right. You know that ain't right. Put that down. And then maybe this kind of goes up a little bit, and then down a little bit. I gotta be careful not to make it too drapey, because that's what got me in trouble the last time. I don't want it to be too drapey, but I don't want it to be stiff either. So, gotta be careful. This better already. All right, now the other thing is I can see already I'm pulling geometry from the back through the front. That's not what I want at all. So what I need to do, like if I turn on double, that's from the back, that part. So I can fix that by using my gizmo, and I'm holding down Alt or Command, or Alt or Option on a Mac, and dragging, and it just grabs the other side of the geo, and then I can just smooth it until it disappears. Right, and I can drag it down actually, like that. And then if I flip it, I can smooth the top a little bit if I want to. So, just want it to feel natural as a, you know, a girl wearing a bird costume can look. All right, so now if I turn on dynamic, there you go, it's starting to get there. Boots back on. All right, quick save and questions. Yo, from Mixer. What's up, Stoic? How you doing? Saitama? This is June from Gachama, or Battle of the Planets. Thanks for the tip. Don't know about that. Just open ZBrush and it says new version available. Yeah, somebody said that earlier. Yeah, somebody said that. I have not updated yet, but I will. See already I'm gonna have a little bit of pinching issues here, but you know what, I can fix that. All right, so I'm going to apply this and turn my blur intensity way down. Just do a little bit of a Now the thing about her, the cape is short. I always make the cape way too long. Let's see if I can fix this. Still kind of big. This is what I was talking about keeping the lower geometry, because I went up too high and I pulled it and I have a blob there. I'm like, I don't want that. So if I step down and then pull it smoother, like that's what I want. It's one thing that all of my models kind of have the same look. It's because I really use the geometry sparingly. All right. Yeah, so when I print this, what I can do is I can have a peg, maybe a couple pegs come out and just go right into her shoulder underneath it here, so they would be like right here. And then it'll fit right on top. I would give this some more thickness too, obviously. So once we are kind of happy with this, which it's all right. It's all right. just want to get these points a little better. They all kind of taper, well, not taper, but they all flare up on the end in the pictures. Let that look. This is probably gonna look crazy when I divide it. Yeah. Alright, so I didn't have something right when I was moving. Yeah, I didn't grab the bottoms. That's what it was. What I can do, let's do this. If is easy enough to fix. All right, so I'm going to delete the higher sub-D levels. I'm just going to isolate the top from the bottom the same way I did before by doing a poly group by poly loop. Poly group by poly loop. That. Then I hide it. Delete it. Delete hidden. Auto group. And now, what's the one I want to use? One of these is worse than the other one. Let's see. The bottom I don't want. Alright, I'm going to delete the bottom. Delete hidden. Alright. Now, before I pull this out, what I want to do is make sure that so this edge loop that I have here is what's causing the problem because it's kinked up in some areas and down in other areas and it's causing it to fold on itself. So I'm just going to delete that. Can I delete it? Should be able to. Why can't? Okay. Oops. Most of it. Alright, I'll just have to do a little bit of stitching here. So I'm going to stitch a couple of these points. Stitch. Seriously? Okay, there's that one. All right, cool. So that's that. Now what I can do is I can even clean up these points a little bit more. Get them exactly where I want them. It's funny, even though I'm not a 3D person, like a lot of construction for my stuff before I do the actual sculpting is done like a box, like box modeling, just because it's so clean. I can really, using ZModeler, I can get these points exactly where I want them. So then when I have something that I like, which is this right here, I can hopefully do an inset. Let's see. Inset by region. Polygroup all right? Nope. Look at this. Get out of the way. It's the only thing about PureRef, it's in the way sometimes. Let's see if this works. There you go. All right. So that's clean now. And I can go and crease those parts that I want creased again. So now I'm going to try doing the mask and crease all. See if I can, if that works. But I don't want, oh, you know what? No. Do it this way. That's right, and geometry, crease all, crease all. All right, but that's going to crease around. I don't think that's what I want. Yeah, it's not what I want at all. All right, I'm just going to crease it the way I did before. I just need to crease 2 points. See where these problems are coming from. These things are twisted here. Don't get it twisted, folks. Let's move this over here and up. And move this over here. This over here. Here. And this may take a little bit longer, but it's so much better than trying to go in later and solve it. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those things, measure twice, cut once type deal. So I know you guys are probably looking at yourself and be like, there's faster ways you can do that. I'm sure there are. now I give this a little thickness, and I can clean that up even more on my neck. Ugh. All right. I can also address this part here that's flipped over because I don't love the way that looks. It's going to be a problem later on. Smoothing it out. All right. Some thickness now. All right. Let's see what. Old school character tips on hair after using curve brush. Bunch of strands. Yeah, so for hair, I usually just use that, I usually just use, you know, some curves and then go in and draw on top of it. So that's all that is. It's kind of a pain in the behind, but it is what it is. There's one that I did for Bishop that was crazy. Let's see. Hair. I have some with hair. Please believe me. Let's try this one. Oh, come on, dude. All right, well, just take my word for it. He has hair in one of these. Here you go. Yeah, so this one was crazy, and I each one of these was an individual strand of, not a strand, but a tube that I decided to Dynamesh together, and it just crippled my machine. It was a mess, but it's kind of same thing for all of his. Like you see, everything on here was ZModeler at one point. Boring to look at, but that's how I do my do. All right, let's see. Any backstory on the character? I haven't read it before. Yeah, go on YouTube and look at Battle of the Planets or Gatchaman. Battle of the Planets was a show that was a cartoon way back when I was a baby, and it was basically a bunch of kids in the 70s who were on a spaceship and fought aliens and were in space. It was pretty cool, but that's what that is. Oh, sorry. You guys already answered that. Have you done the helmet yet? Yes, the helmet is... Oops. Here's the helmet. So that's the helmet anyway. So if you're here to make your portfolio or something, talking with yourself instead of your viewers, I'm the most aloof artist you've ever seen. Oh, I'm sorry you say that, man. Can't please everybody. All right, hair strand question right. Fly ways yet? Yeah, no, I'll do those. Did I miss a question of yours, man? You seem very upset. All right. Please ask it again. I don't see it. Let's see. Patience, all well, when you're good, when it's make a portfolio fast. I need, oh, here it is. I need all the help I can get to make portfolio fast. What are you talking about? Polymodeling hair. Fashion, Danny Mac. Yeah, Danny Mac is crazy with hair. The thing about Danny Mac's stuff that's so great is that he puts down, he's one of those artists, like I really can appreciate artists who are, they give you as few strokes as possible, but they convey a whole lot of work in it, and that goes with like paintings and sculpts. And Danny can put down like a very small amount of actual geometry, like, and then put a few flyaways on top and detail it, and it just looks so good. Like, I love it. And he's got 1,000 videos. Like, he does these 5-minute videos. Danny's a beast. I knew Danny before he blew up. If you're not familiar with him, check out Danny Mac on YouTube. All right. Fiber mesh. Yeah, no, I'm not using fiber mesh because I'm going to print these all out. Thanks, Insane Pixel. Check out Tom Parker. Tutorial for hair. Polycount and wiki and hair tutorials. Shapes in ZBrush before you go into detail anatomy. Speed up improvement for just grinding, making thousands of sculpts. Okay. All right. So basically you're seeing how I'll block out the shape for this cape very simply in using, you know, just like some low poly geo, and then as I get the shit I like, I'll go back in and start to detail the folds and the, you know, it's same as painting. You work large to small, right? So it's going to be one of those things where, did my camera stop? Can you guys even see me?